With regard to the UN, right? Um, the UN leaves a lot to be desired and has left a lot to be desired for a long time. Because sadly, the likes of the Americans and their allies have too much control with the UN. But yet, at the same time, the UN and I understand what Mohammed is saying about how disappointing they've been in relation to Gaza. But yes, then we have people like Francesca Albanese, who has been so good, right? And when we were in the European Parliament, right, it was really striking that von der Leyen and all that group, they never actually wanted to talk about the UN. They only wanted to talk about the rules-based international order. They actually wanted to diminish the UN even more than it is already. And despite the fact that there's huge Western control of it in so many aspects, it's still a problem for them. The UN leaves a lot to be desired, as I've said, but sadly, right now, it's all we've got, and we've got to try and strengthen it. I don't see any alternative in terms of international body coming in and replacing it at the moment. It's not an option. I'm not saying, oh, the UN are going to fix things. No, they're not. International law doesn't exist really anymore. The Americans haven't respected it for years. The European powers only respect it when it suits them. They talk about international law and human rights when it suits them. They only weaponize it. They use it to batter their geopolitical opponents. But they don't respect international law. It's the law of the jungle for them. Might is most powerful, and might is right for them. And they still have a colonial mindset. And that's why so many of them have been able to support a genocide in Gaza in front of their eyes. In terms of where are things going to get better, where's the change coming from? It can only come from the people. It will not come from the political process. The political process is rotten. Listen, 90% of the politicians in the European Union refuse to call it a genocide. 90% of the politicians supported the war in Ukraine. But 90% of the people of Europe are horrified about what's happening in Gaza. Over 80% of them oppose the war in Ukraine. They wanted peace, but the Europeans wanted the war to keep going. The Europeans have been happy for the war to stay going in Gaza and stay quiet about it, and actually just pump in more arms as the French and the Germans and the Brits did. But the people are on a different place and a different page to the politicians. The political class are a disgrace all over the Western world. They are a total disgrace. But it's up to the people to mobilise and to change that. There is hope in the people. There isn't hope in the political process at the moment. And I'm sorry that there isn't I cannot say that I see any prospect of an international body worthwhile actually coming to the fore and playing a serious role. But there's good people all over the world, and they're speaking out. And we have never seen so many people on the streets as we have in the last 16 months. The people of the world are horrified that this is actually happening in the 21st century. I mean, they didn't realize how bad these powers were. They didn't realize how evil they were. I mean, even in Ireland, 2 years ago, 90% of the Irish people didn't know what Zionism was. But they know now. Our government are still shite. But our people are not. And our people want things to be done different, right? Our government just puts measly words on things, but do damn all. Our president has actually been very good. He's had the courage to speak the truth, but our government haven't. But our people, now they know what Zionism is. They know that it's a settler colonial project, and it's an evil project. And they see that now. And I'm really so sorry. I mean, when you talk about the fact that the medical aid is still not going in, and I mean, what it's like to just even walk around and just, I mean, God knows, I mean, I'm fairly well convinced that the numbers of Palestinians who have lost their lives is so much greater than we know, and there's so many still going to lose their lives. You're saying 40,000 have lost limbs. Oh my God, and there's no medicine for them. I mean, what? It's barbaric what's happening.
Thanks a lot for joining Space, and thanks a lot for being your mate. It's a privilege to have you on, and please don't be a stranger, and please join us again you know.
Absolutely, yeah. And listen, what we are doing is nothing in comparison to what you're doing in Gaza. I mean, Mother of God, we're only scratching the surface, and I wish we could do more. I'm sorry.
As long as there are
Okay.
people like you, you know, we'll keep going, mate. You know, but you know, thanks a lot for coming, and
Thank you,
Okay.
Nick.
we'll
Thanks.
see you again.